everybody, welcome back to another Schematics trailer analysis video. I'm BillyMFMays, joined once again by BlindIRL and Adfo.
Hey!
Hello.
Hey guys, and we're going to be looking at Dawn of Man, a game made by RudiRennkamel, which is the developer of Planet Base. So we're going to watch the trailer and we'll be right back with you guys. And welcome back. We're going to be now watching the trailer at half speed with you guys and commenting along with it.
So like Billy mentioned in the intro, Madruga Works is the developer of Planet Base, which was a okay planet building sim. I know a lot of people really liked Planet Base. It basically built a settlement on Mars. And I know a lot of people really liked that game. I found flaws with it very quickly and fell out of love with it, but this seems interesting, at least on the outside.
Did you notice that it's basically the same font as Dawn of War, I think?
Yeah, a little bit. Now that you mention it.
Yeah, that too.
We built our settlement now.
It's a settlement builder, so this is like a Stone Age city builder.
Yeah.
Speaking of that genre, I feel like we've just been seeing a lot of, hey, it's Banished, but with this, going, you know,
I'm okay
forward
with
a lot of these games.
You know, like, I'm kind of okay with that. Banished was an interesting thing that kept me interested for a decent amount of time. This seems like a very early on settlement. We've got, you know, they're settling next to water. Maybe they need water. We've got like
no,
a little...
they don't.
Okay, fine. Then we've got like a little campfire here type thing in the center, and then over on the left there's just like skulls on a stick because, you know, you gotta display your enemies. We've got fabric that we're tanning, probably crafting stations. Just above that, it looks like food.
Yep.
Are those fish?
That looks like fish, yeah.
Yeah, and then just a collection of tents. Honestly, what you were saying with everything is just kind of banished with insert skin here. We've seen that kind of now recently with two different types of games. Everything is either banished or prison architect. Take your pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, the wards there with the skulls at the bottom left is that there's probably more of a conflict in these games, which is something that I kind of wish was the case in a lot of these types of games, where it feels like, yeah, I'm building a settlement, but I'm really not against any real odds other than just, hey, can I progress properly?
Yeah.
Just unhindered? Fine, that's great. But it makes the gameplay stale when you don't have a threat or something that's constantly going against you. And that kind of shows promise, and that's great.
We can continue on if you guys want. But yeah, no, you could very easily have weapon crafting and some form of conflict.
No, there definitely is, yeah. Other AI.
Throwing spears. Maybe it's like a RimWorld type thing where they just invade your space every so often. I wonder what the purpose of the skulls would be then. Would that
marking your territory, showing that it's an intimidation tactic.
Yeah, I'm guessing so.
Basically, like, don't mess with us. We're not docile. If you try to kill us, we'll probably kill you.
Should we pause here?
We can, sure.
A nice little farm.
What are those things along the river up at the top? They look kind of like shields almost.
Yeah, good question.
What do you guys think of the visuals?
Well, I mean, it's an early alpha. I've got to say, I kind of tend to compare this game to Ancient Cities. Because, yeah, while you're starting in the Stone Age, building a small settlement and stuff like that, compared to what we have seen from Ancient City, it looks, I'm afraid to say it, cheaper. Maybe it's just because it's super early in development, and you can see it in the trailer as well. It got some FPS issues. I'm guessing it's just, super early.
I would appreciate it more if it was a bit more stylized. You know, I think these types of games would show a lot more charm if it wasn't just, oh, we're trying to be as photorealistic as possible with, you know, the different types of sprites that we have, given that everything has to be different sizes for visibility. Scale is kind of thrown off that way, but also it makes it look generic.
So you want more settlers, essentially, in your graphic styles.
Really just anything other than just pure photorealism.
If you want to aim for photorealism, you really need to pull that off, because otherwise it just looks cheap, as I said earlier. If you're going a more stylized way, I think it gives you more freedom.
Comparing this to Planet Base, which I think is really fair, Planet Base kind of did a very similar thing on the edge of the map. If you look at the back, you see those big kind of almost shapeless mountains that are just kind of just signifying the edge of the map. Planet Base, if you would pan the camera all the way down and kind of look at the edge of the map, you'd kind of have something very similar. I wonder if those are going to get prettied up for final release. Maybe they'll put trees on them or something, or if that's just kind of the edge of the map. They say it's alpha, like 0.01 or whatever they called it, but at the same time, I always wonder these days, like, what does alpha 0.01 mean? Does that mean you're going to drop an early access build in 3 weeks, or does that mean this is footage from 6 months ago? What does that mean?
And as well, continuing, it makes sense to have bare mountains in a game like Planet Base, because you're on space, you're probably not dealing with a lot of biology or flora. But in this game, where it's on Earth, it needs to be a little prettier.
Yeah, I agree. I wonder about the map size, because right now, I mean, the only real comparison we have here is Ancient Cities, and to me the map size, maybe they're just good at hiding it, but in Ancient City trailers it looks way bigger, the map, than we see here.
Ancient Cities is also a graphical showpiece. Like, that game's fucking beautiful.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I think it's almost unfair to compare Ancient Cities to this, at least graphically, style wise. At the end of the day, this genre comes down to gameplay.
Sure.
So how compelling is your game? I think the fair comparison for this game would be Planet Base, because that is what they've done before. And at least looking at this, because this is a very open scene of the map seems similar in size to Planet Base, which was quite small. In Planet Base, you'd have 3 to 4 full screens worth of map that you could kind of scroll around. But you never really built outside of your main settlement, because at least in Planet Base, everything had to be connected, because it was a selection of domes that you were building, and you couldn't really split them off. You kind of could, but it wasn't optimal at all, and it wasn't a good idea.
I totally agree with you that in the end it comes down to the gameplay mechanics and if they are compelling to you or not. On the other hand, if you have two games that kind of are similar in the topic, and one is beautiful looking and the other is, it's super unfair what I say now, because it's not ugly looking, but if you have a beautiful looking and an ugly looking game, I don't honestly know what people tend to try first. I'm thinking the beautiful looking game, even though it's maybe not that compelling gameplay wise.
They're fueled a lot by aesthetics. You kind of want to be immersed in a world like this. Otherwise, you are more or less just looking at like a series of windows and graphs and charts, abstracted or not. If you don't have a beautiful viewport into the world, you're not going to really be invested long term. And on that subject, looking at the expanded village, I feel like this does not look much different from what you started out with.
Initially, it was like clay and leaf huts, basically, built out of sticks. And at this point, we've got like actual functional walls. I think it does look quite a bit different. It's
different, but it's not different enough to really like cement the fact that, you're a more advanced settlement. Other than just a few walls, you're still dealing with the same shape of huts, more or less. And even very similar building material.
Yeah, I agree. It kind of looks like you're just expanding your city and not go further in the centuries, if that makes sense. So
this video wound up being way more critical than I expected going in.
Through the ages. Exactly. And I don't see that really in the video.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah.
This seems like a 2-year difference, maybe.
Yeah.
There's a cow.
Holy cow. There is.
That's a little bull.
That's it. I quit.
Well,
but no, I mean, I'll play this. Honestly, I'll give it a shot.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Because it's my genre, it's my kind of thing, and I think that they're slated for release in Q2 of this year. So I think that they're coming out before.
Oh, really? This year?
Let me just check.
Q4.
Let me double check.
Q4. I'm on the Steam page.
slated for release, I think probably before Ancient Cities. So we'll see. I mean, competition is good. It's just interesting that 2 games pop up around the same time.
Well, that's been our look at Dawn of Man. Thanks for joining us. We're going to get on out of here. Catch you guys later.
Thank you very much for watching. Bye.